All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier eye hypnosis coach and your personal guide. Today is truly, uh, I know I say this quite often, but literally, it's like freshly baked bread every day. Even if you're the baking bread every single day, when you actually bake it, it is the freshest bread that you've ever made. And this is something that I'm starting to notice as a pattern, that when I sit to actually, record these pods, these are of course daily pods, and we've been at this now for quite a while. And interestingly, every time when I actually take a moment, take a breath to just get ready for this pod, and then when I go live like this, it just reminds me that this is truly powerful work that I get to do. And of course, when I say work, it's not work in the typical sense, but it is the act, it is the process of showing up and just allowing whatever spirit is meant to flow through me on the day to just happen. And that's why when I said, that this is truly a special pod, this is um, a very different, um, it definitely is a different pod. Let me put it to you like this. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, on my podcast channel, or if you are maybe watching this live on Facebook, you know that now we have a new background, right? A new background. And so when I say that, things have changed, things truly have. And in fact, today's pod was inspired and is inspired by this sense of resetting. So for those of you who've been following along with me, you know that over the last um, literally over the last month, I've been away. It's been quite the journey, and now that we are here, I of course I'm back home, and I also get to reconnect with you, from my roots. And I actually had this sense at some point during these last 30 days that maybe it's time to let's say reset and reorganize the furniture. And so intuitively today that just happened. Of course, this is still early days. I'm still testing out how this plays out. Typically I've never done any of these pods, or even when I'm on my Zoom calls, I don't normally sit in front of a wall. But of course, to my left, there is greenery, so there is a balance. So it'll be interesting to see how the coming days shape this new environment. And since we're talking about shaping things and testing new things out, I'm just going to for a moment give you also a feel of of what is to come. So uh, in a moment you should be able to see me sitting in front of a different backdrop, right? And of course, this is not always going to be here, but it's just something that I'm experimenting with. So obviously the size of the image, all of that will get spruced up. But I thought, why wait? Let's just test it out live here. So for those of you who are my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers, you know that this is the backdrop is the logo. So the logo of eye hypnosis, which is the mothership. And over the months, over the years now, there've been a couple of there've been a couple of changes. There've been a couple of additions. I've been going through this process of reorganizing and actually, like getting the name. uh, fixed. Obviously, I've been doing several changes. I've been doing several shifts now for quite some time. But we are kind of, I feel we're kind of at that place now where um, uh, where where we will be kind of saying the same thing over and over again, because that is truly how we fix on our message, right? So I will obviously be doing. In fact, even as I'm talking to you right now, I'm just doing an update here. Um, you should be able to see it any minute now, especially if you are watching this on watching this live, or if you're watching this on YouTube. So definitely, there will be more of these experiments. I think one thing I have come to be more comfortable with is to be okay to do experiments, because it's only when we do these experiments that we're able to find something that truly works for us. So there'll be more of these, and I think more than just that, because of course that's got to do with me. It's about me, and it's got to do with me. But I think what's also important is that this is about you as much as it's about me. So something I wanted to share with you today, which which came to me um, while I was preparing for today's live, for today's pod, and that is that we sometimes tend to get a little stuck in our thinking, in our ways, and then we kind of don't want to change, right? Maybe we think it's because it's safe. I think what the one thing I can kind of comment on is, if it's safe, then maybe it's time to change it. If it's working for you, then probably stick with it for a little longer. So, for example, especially if you are a healer, if you are a digital coach, and you're right now at that point in your life where there are certain things that are safe, maybe the way you look, maybe what you're teaching. It's kind of predictable, so it takes a lot of the pressure off you, and you're not unnecessarily worried about about how things will be or how things will go. And so, you I think from a business standpoint, that is really when our businesses go to die. Meaning that when we kind of get comfortable and we do not want to make any changes, that is literally the beginning of our companies starting to die. So, like I said, if it is comfortable, it's probably time to reset. Whether that means just resetting uh, where you're sitting, resetting what you're teaching, resetting how you're engaging with your clients, with your customers. And I say this because if you have something that's just comfortable, eventually that comfort leads to complacency, and then mistakes happen, right? Either we sort of like, it's like how when you're on the highway. I'm sure you've heard of so many of these stories of people, or let's say when the lorry driver is driving for hours and hours and hours together. They've got bricks of different weights that they put on their pedals, and then their feet are up and they're just holding on to the steering for a moment, and then you know what happens. So the point here being that complacency is like that. On the other hand, if something is working, if you are getting results, and if you are able to, let's say, serve more people, or if you're able to scale your business or build your business, then yes, 100%, continue to do what is working. So it's not about changing for the heck of changing, but really, being present to the fact that, and also, if you're getting like a nudge, whether it's from the universe, whether it's from your unconscious, if you're getting this nudge to make a change. Like I said, I had no intention, or let me put it this way, I had no idea that while I was away, this thought would come to me to actually change the position, the location of um, my setup of my studio. But here I am, and I'm open to see what happens, whether it means just kind of airing out the energy, the vibe, whatever you call it. We all use different frames, but The simple point here being that, if you really want to change, because that is why you're here, that is why you're helping people be able to tap into that part of themselves, then most definitely, um, you know, allow yourself to receive these new ideas. It's like, I'm sure you've noticed this, whether it's, let's say Diwali or maybe your own birthday, where you kind of decide to sort of like do spring cleaning, right? You take everything out, you clean it up, spruce it up, and then you put things back. When you are putting things back, typically you will feel that nudge to kind of maybe place things in a different place. And that kind of, as they say, zhuzhes things up, meaning that it just basically makes things um, feel different, right? And that is so important for us to keep variating our energy, because the moment we are kind of in that that's when we fall asleep at the wheel. So just a couple of things, I think, which will definitely, so you can tell there's a lot of thinking that I've been doing. And that's why, I'm sort of like using the predicate of, I think, for those of you who are following along. But what's also important is that, we make it a point to ask ourselves these questions, to take a moment to just uh, tap into how things are and what is happening. And we will discover, I'm sure, just like I will, new possibilities. So with that, of course, just a reminder, especially if you are a healer and a digital coach, this is a journey. So the fact that you're already here means that you've already begun the journey. And it's important to have, the right gear for your journey, but it's also important to have the right kind of travelers, co-travelers, companions, so that the journey is fun, the journey is exciting, and that we are able to take that energy and transmit that to others, so that they may be inspired to truly also make a difference in their lives. So with that, just a reminder, as always, remember to live with purpose. And having said all of that, of course, if there's any way in which I can help you, please definitely reach out. Whether it is, me, whether it is somebody else, just reach out. Okay. And as always, of course, I will be back tomorrow. This is a daily pod. So wishing you all the very best. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day ahead, and a week, year, and a month ahead. Take care. Bye bye. God bless. See ya.